So apparently when it comes down to the Braxtons coming out with the season 2, production definitely put a pause on it due to all the sisters getting into it with Tamar. And for those who don't know, Tamar is not a friend of the show this season. She came on as like a main character or main cast member, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? But she decided to bring on Ashley. And for those who don't know, Ashley is their niece from their brother, Michael.
Y'all, not Trina, hopping online and dragging Tamar for allegedly getting their whole show canceled with her nonstop shenanigans. Because the Braxton girl is back at it again. And this time, it's pure, unfiltered, nuclear-level chaos. The beef between Tamar and Trina has exploded over the past couple of months, and insiders say the tension is so toxic that producers are literally questioning whether the show is even worth continuing. And that's insane because y'all already know, producers love mess. If they're scared, oh, it's bad. So what exactly did Tamar do this time? Well, word on the curb is that Tamar was the one who exposed Trina's ex for allegedly being a creep who was out here preying on younger women. And if there's one thing we all know about Miss Trina Braxton, she does not play about her man, your man, a man, any man. Tamar poked the wrong bear. But that's not even the whole storm. Tamar is also accusing Trina of trying to turn the sisters against her and isolate her from the rest of the Braxton clan. And honestly, the way things are looking, she might be right, because not one sister seems to be publicly riding for her right now. So is Tamar officially on the outs with the entire Braxton family? And why is the loyalty suddenly gone? Things took an even messier turn when reports started swirling that Toni Braxton herself walked off set during taping. And that's when everyone realized the family feud had hit a breaking point. According to multiple reports, insiders claim that Toni Braxton literally walked off set during taping for the upcoming season of The Braxtons. The Grammy-winning legend is done, over it, completely fed up with the non-stop sister drama. Toni allegedly reminded everyone that when Tracy passed, they all swore to her that they would stick together and keep the peace. But instead of healing, the girls are fighting worse than ever. And while these sources tried to make it seem like Toni was somehow the issue, let's be real. This whole meltdown had everything to do with Tamar and Trina. And apparently, Tawanda had her own little side involvement too. But the core explosion? Tamar versus Trina, period. The chaos didn't start yesterday either. The tension has been brewing for a long time because last season was a whole train wreck on camera. Their latest series, The Braxtons, has been airing for a minute now, and the tension between the sisters has been so thick you could slice it with a knife. Sure, every sister had their fair share of drama last season, but Tamar and Trina, phew, their energy hits different. Their interactions don't feel like normal sibling bickering.
It's a matter of respect. I respect where people are. That's just
Is that why?
I respect where people are. I don't engage. I don't pour into certain types of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I make different choices in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where I am.
But this is TV, Josh. outside of yesterday and today, when was the last time you talked to me?
I don't recall. It wasn't my birthday because you didn't call me.
Your birthday's September, here we are in March.
I am in this space. I am in a space of, I'm just focusing on my relationship and whoever's in my household. I'm focusing on my children. I'm focusing on my relationship.
In your household? Tony's in your household?
They call me. I talk to them every day.
Girl, you don't answer the phone.
That's
Girl,
not true.
Stop.
Let's be specific. Did you call me yesterday?
I did.
Did I answer it?
Well, because we're taping now.
No. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. When you called me, every time you called,
that is not
every
true.
time you called, I answered. Every time you text, I answer. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So I'm a liar.
No, you said that. I didn't call you that. That's the word that you're using.
There's something deeper, darker, and way more personal bubbling under the surface. And the timing makes it even sadder. With so much of this season focusing on Tracy's passing in 2022, you'd expect them to be more united than ever. Losing a sister changes everything, or at least it should. But instead of growing closer, it looks like the emotional weight of that loss is pulling them even further apart. To cope with everything that's been boiling over, the sisters have been attending therapy together. The show even featured them sitting down for group grief counseling with therapist Spirit, trying to unpack years of buried emotions and unresolved trauma. But even inside those sessions, where things are supposed to be calm, Tamar and Tawanda still couldn't keep the peace. Tamar accused Tawanda of refusing to put in the work to maintain their bond, basically saying Tawanda checked out emotionally. Meanwhile, Tawanda stood 10 toes down, insisting that she wasn't being distant. She was protecting her own mental health by setting boundaries. And honestly, the sisters haven't really been communicating at all these days. According to Tamar, the only reason Tawanda even answers her calls or responds to her texts is because the cameras are rolling. She feels the whole thing is performative. Like, Tawanda only shows up for relationship moments when it's time to film. As Tamar put it, it's a matter of respect. I respect where people are. But the tone? Sharp. Now, having tension behind closed doors is one thing, but when your issues are spilling out on national TV, that's gasoline on the fire. Fans have definitely picked up on the uncomfortable energy between them. The awkward silences, the side-eye, the vibe that something is seriously broken, and at this point, nobody knows if they actually want to fix things, or if they've silently accepted that their relationship is never going back to what it was. Either way, this situation is a lot, and something tells me this mess is nowhere near cooling down. Y'all remember last year when Tawanda hopped online to address her relationship with Tamar and said this? I wanna clear up some discrepancies though, my piece. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, I wanna clear up some discrepancies though. These people asking me, hey guys, have you spoken to Tamar? You guys talking to Tamar? You talk to Tamar? Of course. As I stated before, regardless on what happens, if any of my sisters call me, I'm going to pick up the phone and answer. If they need me, if they text me, I'm going to respond. And that's just the bottom line. That's just what it is. However, I am sensitive to other people's boundaries, and I respect people's boundaries regardless on what it is. If I agree or not, I'm going to respect your boundaries. If you say you don't feel like it, or you don't want to beg, you want to do this, guess what? I'm going to respect your boundaries by not crossing those lines. That's just it. And that's it. You know? If this person said, you act like you hard, you got a wall that makes it seem like you don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's not that. What it is that I have respectfully learned to compartmentalize the things that is more important. And it's not important for me to do anything other than to protect my peace. That's it. That's just it.
And baby, the comment section under Tawanda's live, a full-blown disaster zone. Folks were in there accusing Tawanda of being bitter, jealous, pressed, all of it, over Tamar's success. Because let's be real, Tamar has built a solid career between music, reality TV, talk shows, and live hosting. She's out here making money moves and headlines every other week. Tawanda is doing her thing too, but y'all already know how the internet operates. People will always pick a side. And this time, Tamar's fans swarmed like bees. They were convinced Tawanda only went live and spoke on Tamar the way she did because she's secretly salty about Tamar's career, her fan base, her wins, all of it. But one thing about Tawanda, she is not the sister who sits back quietly while the internet throws rocks at her name. And she clapped back hard. She dragged Tamar's fans left, right, center. No hesitation, no filter, no apology. And the mess didn't stop there. When Tawanda got married just a few days ago, Tamar was the only sister not invited to the wedding. And let me tell you something, that was not an oversight. That was intentional. That was a message. That was, we are not good. Last season was already a chaotic hot mess. But we all thought maybe, just maybe, they had worked through their issues like grown, mature women. But clearly, nope. The situation has blown up so badly that, according to reports, production had to pause filming altogether. Insiders say the producers literally shut down the Braxtons after a heated, explosive argument between Tamar and her sisters. It got that intense. Season 2 is supposed to drop this summer. But with the way these sisters are spiraling, fans are starting to wonder if we'll even get a season 2. Because after Tamar and Tawanda's mess last season, everybody assumed they were the ones beefing again, but nope. Trina popped out of nowhere and made it crystal clear that she and Tamar were the ones in a bad place. Trina even posted, "To everyone who has distanced themselves from me, kindly stay there." Whew, that was a direct shot. So what exactly happened between these two? And why is Trina this mad at Tamar? Well, the streets are saying the entire fallout traces back to their niece Ashley and her exposing Trina's ex-husband Gabe for allegedly being a creep. According to Ashley, she told Trina years ago that Gabe was behaving inappropriately, but Trina brushed it off and sided with her man anyway, even though she allegedly knew the truth. Now let's be real. Gabe, may he rest in peace, was far from the ideal husband. He spent a large part of their 12-year marriage cheating, lying, slipping around, and doing everything but being loyal. And yes, Trina eventually returned the favor. To call their relationship toxic is putting it politely. Their entire dynamic was a circus. Breaking up, making up, chaos, tears, and every bit of it played out on Braxton family values for the entire world to see. So the idea that Gabe might have had his eye on Ashley? Sadly,
Yeah, you're right. The show's supposed to do it because it's supposed to show real life family. We have a real life family, and real life family goes through real life situations. You're not going to get along all the time. You're not going to see eye to eye all the time, and everybody has their own journey. Period. That's just it. So if you come on here talking about, oh, Tawanda is jealous, she's so jealous. How can I be jealous of one sister and not jealous of Tony Braxton?
not shocking, Gabe had a wandering eye and a messy reputation. And for those who don't know, Ashley Braxton is the daughter of Michael Braxton, the older brother of the famous Braxton sisters. Meaning, yes, she is family. But the fallout from Ashley's story didn't end with that moment. It actually triggered one of the deepest fractures the Braxton family has ever faced. According to insiders, Ashley felt completely betrayed, not just by her aunt, but by the entire family dynamic that followed. She claims that instead of rallying around her, certain relatives began distancing themselves, acting cold, or pretending the situation wasn't serious. And for Ashley, that silence cut deeper than anything the husband ever did. What made everything worse was that the incident didn't just stay a private family matter. Oh no, it started seeping into the sisters' relationships with each other. Suddenly, old wounds were being reopened, past betrayals were brought back into the spotlight, and every unsaid tension from the last decade bubbled to the surface. Some family members allegedly felt like Trina never held Gabe accountable, even when signs were there. Others felt Tamar had been quietly holding on to resentment for years, believing Trina protected a man over a vulnerable child. And when Ashley's story resurfaced online, those emotions exploded. Tamar, being Tamar, wasn't about to stay silent. Sources say she confronted Trina behind the scenes, demanding accountability. Not just for what happened to Ashley, but for all the years everyone pretended everything was fine. Trina, on the other hand, felt blindsided. She reportedly believes Tamar is using the situation to destroy her character, bring up old wounds for clout, and create chaos that could hurt the entire family's brand. And if that wasn't enough, Tawanda supposedly jumped in too, not to defend Tamar, but to defend Trina, which only escalated things even further. Before long, what started as a disturbing confession from Ashley spiraled into a three-way war between Tamar, Trina, and Tawanda. And the family hasn't been the same since. According to reports, Ashley later shared that her stepmother and father discovered messages between her and her aunt's partner that were completely inappropriate, and it left them shocked. She explained that at first her aunt acted caring and upset over what Ashley went through, but over time her aunt's attitude seemed to change, and that shift confused her. As Ashley grew older, she began to realize how strange it was that her aunt appeared calm about the situation involving her partner, especially given how serious it was. She said it felt like any support from parts of her family slowly faded away, which left her feeling abandoned during a time when she needed care. She also mentioned that this unnamed aunt assumed she started it, or that she played a role in the issue, even though she was only a teenager at the time, and that made things emotionally harder for her. Through therapy, Ashley said she learned how she processed the experience and also recognized that she should never have been placed in that position to begin with, and that the blame should not fall on her in any way. Ashley shared that she spoke with friends who have experienced similar situations, and it bothered her that this was something they could relate to because it is something no one should have to navigate. She also never revealed which aunt was involved, choosing not to identify her publicly. This situation happened around 16 years ago, and that timeline made fans start connecting dots. At that time, the Braxton sisters who were married included Trina with Gabriel Souls, Tamar with Daryl Lumby, Tracy with Kevin Surratt, and Tawanda with Andre Carter, which is why the online discussions grew even louder, and technically any of the sisters could have been the aunt Ashley was referring to, since she was very careful not to mention any names at all. Because she left out those details, it was impossible to know exactly who she meant without more information. But the internet never waits for full clarity. The moment Ashley's video started gaining attention, people online went straight into detective mode. Fans and internet sleuths began digging through old interviews, past episodes, and years of family drama, searching for anything that might point to the person involved. And with the Braxton family's long history of sharing their real-life problems on reality TV, there was plenty for people to analyze. One of the biggest clues Ashley shared was that the man she referred to had allegedly displayed concerning behavior on television, which made viewers start connecting dots even faster. Anyone who has followed the Braxtons knows their family has dealt with many public issues over the years, but certain relationships were a lot more turbulent and heavily documented than others. When fans lined up the timelines from 16 years ago, one sister's marriage seemed to match more clearly with the details Ashley mentioned. Trina's relationship immediately became a major focus point for online investigators. Around the time this situation was said to happen, Trina was having serious challenges in her marriage with Gabe, and their struggles were a big storyline on Braxton family values, including concerns about loyalty and trust. Viewers watched Gabe break Trina's trust many times on national television, including having multiple affairs and even getting caught holding inappropriate conversations with other women online, which caused major tension for their marriage. The situation became so overwhelming that Trina eventually admitted she stepped out too, creating a cycle that played out in front of millions. So when Ashley mentioned that the man involved in her experience had also shown troubling behavior on TV, people online immediately started paying close attention. Gabe's documented history, combined with how openly his mistakes were shown, made him one of the main individuals fans suspected when trying to make sense of her story. His reputation for having a wandering eye only intensified the speculation. But Gabe wasn't the only husband viewers remembered for having issues during that era. If we are being real, many of the Braxton sisters have dealt with extremely rocky relationships over the years. Whether it involved concerns about loyalty, arguments, or constant tension, their love lives were far from calm, and the ups and downs were a major part of what kept audiences watching. When you look at the patterns over time, it becomes clear that dysfunctional relationships have been a repeating theme in the family. Some fans even pointed out that this type of turmoil might have roots in earlier generations because their mother, Evelyn, also experienced a complicated and highly emotional relationship with their father, Michael Braxton Sr. Michael Sr. repeatedly broke Evelyn's trust, and she carried that hurt for many years after it happened. The resentment ran so deep that even after their divorce, she still confronted him and brought up the past, making it clear she never fully healed from what she experienced. Anyone who watched Braxton Family Values knows exactly how strongly Evelyn feels about unfaithful partners. She has always spoken openly about how much she dislikes disloyal behavior, and she spent years addressing those issues with Michael Sr., creating some of the most intense moments viewers ever saw on the show. Her reactions weren't just drama for the cameras either. Her pain shaped a lot of how she moved in life, and the impact didn't stop with her. The way Evelyn handled her relationship challenges influenced how her daughters viewed their own relationships, and it shaped how they dealt with conflict, trust, and loyalty in their marriages. This is why people say the apple does not fall far from the tree, because the Braxton sisters grew up watching their mother's struggles, and in many ways, similar patterns later showed up in their own relationships. So when fans started piecing everything together, looking at timelines, behavior, and what Ashley shared in her story, many reached the conclusion that the aunt she was referring to was Trina. The online discussions grew louder once viewers felt the clues lined up. Ashley never directly confirmed the name, but she hinted at it in a major way. One fan commented under her video saying, "Sounds like Trina, Gabe," and pointed out that Ashley gave context clues, like saying the person had been on TV and showed similar behavior, and Ashley liked that comment instantly. She also liked another comment that said, "I definitely know it was Trina and Gabe," which made viewers pay even closer attention. Another person even shared their own experience, claiming that Gabe contacted their then 17-year-old transgender cousin online and offered to arrange a trip to Atlanta, including a hotel stay near the airport, and they said they witnessed and recorded everything. That comment said, "God blocked on that sim for trying to let her know what he was doing." And Ashley liked that one too, making people feel even more certain about who she meant. So it looked more and more like Ashley was referring to Trina, and people noticed the timing of everything, especially the times Trina was accused of blocking people who tried to warn her about unusual behavior connected to her husband. The surprising part is that Tamar is the only sister who fully supports Ashley right now, and considering Tamar's reputation for being unpredictable at times, many didn't expect her to be the one who stepped up, but that's exactly what happened. Not only did Tamar stand by Ashley, but reports claim she even wanted Ashley to appear on their show to tell her story, and that is something Trina strongly disagreed with. According to Ashley, Trina supported her husband even when his actions were clearly concerning, and the last thing Trina wants is for her marriage issues to be exposed on reality TV, especially in a way that paints her partner in a negative light. This has created a major conflict between the sisters, and the argument reportedly became so intense that it put the entire show at risk. The rest of the sisters are said to be blaming Tamar for the chaos, believing her involvement is the reason production was affected. For a family that promised to treat each other better after Tracy's passing, this situation shows they are struggling to keep that promise. This situation is complicated, emotional, and messy, and the tension just keeps growing. Make sure you like this video, hit subscribe, drop a comment, share it with someone who follows the Braxtons, and I'll see you in the next one.